Alchemy Theater Company has been around for about 6 or 7 years now, and since 2013. And what we do is we go around to other theaters and we rent out their theaters, doing shows that maybe they wouldn't be able to do, or just quick put down shows and things like that. Alchemy is really about the mythology and the idea of taking smaller pieces and putting and synthesizing them together to make something that other people would think is magical. And that's what Alchemy does. We set dressers, actors, directors, everything, including audience members, and we put that together, and that's what theater is to us. Alchemy wanted to produce this play because it's just so exciting. For starters, it was going to be a West Coast premiere for us, so we were very excited about that. And then I just know a lot of people in theater who enjoy the mythos of the certain schools of magic and how important that is to all of us and the lessons that can be gleaned from it. And once I watched the production, the filmed production that they have online, I thought, oh, this is silly and this is going to be, it'll be fun, but it's very niche. But when you get into the story and you get into the show, it's so important. The messages, even within this show, not just from the subject material, are so heartfelt and they're real. And I'm just very, very excited to share this show with people who might only know the subject material and not know what a great enjoyment they're going to get out of this. The Puff universe takes place in our own world. It starts in Catalpoke Springs, New Mexico, and then we are taken to a certain school of magic. And so we meet Wayne, who is our sort of everyman lead character, and he's also an orphan, and he also has dreams of being this regular kid who just happens to be a wizard and be a hero, and that's how we all feel when you watch this pop culture and these movies and TV shows and everything and read these books. And he's transported to this magical world, and he meets people that some are like him and some are not like him, and just navigating that as a kid who wants to do amazing things and coming to terms with sometimes we're not the heroes that we think we're going to be, but sometimes we become more than that. There are a ton of interesting characters in Puffs. Each actor plays a track of several characters in the show. So you have everything from a certain potions professor, you have a Professor McGee, and then you all the characters that you are figuring that you're going to see in the show. And then more importantly in that, the writers, Matt Cox, and I'm sure a great team that he put together for the show, all the characters within the show are based off of counterparts in their subject material. So that's really interesting as well. And most importantly, we meet the narrator, who is telling this story, and then also our trio, Megan, Oliver, and Wayne, who we follow throughout the show, and each of them come to terms with what has put them in the Puffs house and how that element of themselves is not something to be shied away from, something to be embraced. So Puffs have a habit of being silly and strange, and some would say weird, but that's what makes them great. They're not just one thing, they're all kinds of things, and I think that's all the characters in the show really exhibit that kind of behavior. The Puffs acting team is a fantastic group of 11 actors, and they have to play around 70 different characters. So they're so wonderful in that they get to change between all of these characters, and they do it with zeal and gusto, and I really, really appreciate all of that about them. And they're willing to play, and they're willing to have fun. Some of the actors are returning Alchemy actors, so Joey Nestra, Kelly Martin, Phil Nieto, Brian Pernat, and then we have some newcomers and Brittany Cotter as well, as I already mentioned. And then we have some newcomers in Kyle and Eric, Chelsea, and Lydia, Rebecca, and the rest of the Alchemy team helping me with Puffs this time around is Kelsey Somerville, and she's our stage manager, and she's doing a fantastic job. Kelsey is so dedicated to spreadsheets and making sure everything is organized and perfectly laid out, doing calls, rehearsal reports, everything that you need a stage manager to be. And I wouldn't be anywhere without her in this project. And then other Alchemy company members, our newest company member, Brittany Cotter, is in the show. She's one of the actors. She plays Sally Perks in the show. And then Jim Lowe, my dad, is our set design and carpenter for the show. So he's working on all of that. Other company members, Kathleen Switzer is working on buttons and things like that, some merchandising. So is Daniel Conder. It's really all hands on deck. Tucker Boys, Laura Lee, Barlow Boys is working on some merchandising and stuff too. So everybody's really, really working hard.
I play the narrator, and the narrator is different from the rest of the characters in the fact that he knows the story. He's the one telling the story, and so whereas everyone else is experiencing it firsthand, he knows where it's going. He interacts with the audience, and he's helps to convey the message of the story. It's different. Being able to interact with the audience is a lot of fun. Then it's just different. Being able to break the fourth wall and really be able to interact with them and to talk directly to them is going to be a lot of fun.
I play Wayne Hopkins, and his story arc is sort of wanting to be important and knowing that he can be important, and as the play goes along, he just about gets it every year. He's almost a super important person, and how to deal with not quite getting to where he wants to be. And yeah, that's at the end he does definitely come to terms with everyone is important in their own way.
I play Megan Jones, and she's kind of a person that's trying to find herself within the school. She, through each year, the first 3 to 4 years, she essentially tests out every house in which she fits the best in, but she believes she fits with the snakes. She does not want to be a puff. Her whole family is are puffs, and she is someone that does not want to resonate with that at all. So she tries to branch away. She's like the awkward high school kid that's just trying to find her place in the world and what crowd or what group will accept her. And
the character I play is Oliver Rivers, and Oliver Rivers is this brilliant math kid who has always been the smartest person around, and now he has been completely whisked away into a world of magic and wizarding, and he doesn't know the first thing about it. So for him, this is his first time ever really feeling stupid and that he's not capable of doing things that everyone else is able to. So for Oliver, it's about coming into a world that he is so unfamiliar with and learning what strengths he does have and what he can contribute into this world where he feels completely useless. And I like to think that as it goes on, Oliver absolutely grows from this very shy, awkward kid to someone who's much more confident in himself and what he can contribute to the group.
So I play Ernie Mac. I play a certain potions professor. I play a certain large man, the second headmaster, and basically all of the defense teachers throughout all 7 years, and a couple ghosts here and there too. And Ernie Mac is basically the best. He is kind of from a long line of puffs. He wants to be one of the best puffs. He wants to be the puffiest puff and really be that shining example. I think he takes a lot of inspiration from Cedric, who is kind of the leader of the puffs, and kind of wants to follow in his footsteps.
Well, I play multiple different characters at the certain school of magic and magic. I play many of the female teachers, so Professor McGee and Professor Sprouty and Professor Lonnie and several others. I think most definitely my favorite is Professor McGee. She's just so much fun, and I get to have a couple really fun moments with her.
I play a bunch of different characters. I play J. Finch Fletchley, who is a puff, and he's silly and desperately wants to be cool through any means necessary, which draws him to Cedric in a visceral way. You'll see my J. Finch try to touch Cedric at every opportunity, which is amusing for me and probably less amusing for Aaron, who plays Cedric. To play J. Finch, I get to play the Fat Friar, Zach Smith, a brief scene as Hermione, a death buddy, 80s Zach Smith, Clumsy Longbottom. Yeah, I don't know, but my favorite. There's two more. That are rotated through there, but yeah, my favorite is probably Zach Smith, the captain of the PUFFS sports team. I get to do a little improvised monologue in the middle of his scene, which is fun for me, and he also is just loud and brash and crass. Mr. Bagman, that's another one that I like. But yeah, Zach Smith. Being able to do an improvised monologue in the middle of the show, where I just have a couple minutes, just can do what I want, and I can change it every night, and I can just take all these different paths, has been fun just trying it in rehearsal, and I'm excited to keep trying new things and seeing what works and pull out more ridiculousness as the show goes on, as I'm inspired by other different things.
Leanne is so bubbly. She is so positive and always looking on the bright side, and nothing really gets her down. Hugs are her favorite thing, which I love hugs. Leanne loves hugs. It's just perfect. I play Leanne, Ginny, Frenchie, and Helga. I would probably say Helga is my favorite to play just because she embodies the foundation of PUFFS as a house.
So my main character is Sally Perks, but I also play Blondo Malfoy. I play Bippy, the house elf, Rita Scooter, and Hermione. And I would say my one or two favorites out of that list of characters would be Sally, of course, because she's very sweet, and Bippy, because she is always there to lend a helping hand.
So in the show, I play Susie Bones. I also play a certain boy with a scar, and then I play a certain ghost that likes to hang out in certain female bathrooms, if you know who I'm talking about. I play Colin, and I play Rick Griff. Is that all I play? I think there might be a few more. It's so hard to choose a favorite because they are all so fun in their different ways.
I play Cedric and Mr. Voldy. Between the two of them, it's really challenging to tell which one I prefer, because I really like them for different reasons. I like Mr. Voldy because I get to have a lot of fun improvising and trying new things and exploring how this really terrifying character is trying also to be a person. And that's really fun. But at the same time, I really like Cedric because Cedric is challenging. He's at first glance just, unbridled enthusiasm, but he also has a lot of weight on his shoulders trying to make sure that all of the puffs get to where they need to go and become what a real puff is. And over the course of the show, it kind of becomes revealed to the audience that being a puff is not just about being nice, and Cedric is a key aspect of that.
The word puffs, what does it mean to me personally? The outcast that you can really, trust and love and resonate with. I think they're probably one of the most realistic, real life groups of people that are, even though it's fantasy and whatnot, but I think in real life there are actual walking around, puffs in the world that, or people that would resonate. I can't even word it correctly. People that really are like puffs, and I just think that they're the most relatable out of everybody.
The word puffs means to me loyal, hardworking, and integrity.
The word puff, personally, to me means someone who is caring and will always be there for you, and will, no matter what you need, no matter, what it is, they will always, be there for you. They are loyal and true that way.
The word puffs means to me being loyal and kind-hearted.
Puffs means to me that no matter what, you stand by your friends, you always do what's right, whether that seems to be the best choice or not, that you're always going to be there to support everyone around you and to make sure that everyone around you is always happy and having fun.
When I think of the word puff, the first thing that comes to my mind is those little koosh balls, those Nerf balls that are just so puffy and soft. And we all had them as a kid. And I think of something that's soft and squeezy and fun, but and it's almost pointless. It's almost pointless. It's just this thing that squeezes, but we all had it and we all had fun. And I think that's what the Puffs is. Cedric says it best. We're all just a bunch of fun, really nice people. And badgers. Badgers are great.
I would say puffs to me it can mean a lot of things depending on who you are as a person. To me, I think puffs means just being there when no one else can be there to help, your friends. Like, if no one else can do it, I can.
Puffs means to me integrity. I think it's like doing the right thing even when no one's noticing.
Puffs are loyal. Puffs are hardworking, wonderful, good-natured people that you just can't help but love.
I think when I think of puffs, I think of cheese, and then I think of the show. And I'm working on making sure that the show comes first and cheese puffs comes second.
Puffs means to me happiness, inclusion, and a willingness to be silly.
The word puffs means loyalty. It means standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves. It means supporting the underdog. It means making sure that everybody has a place and that everybody has a friend. And it means looking out for other people besides yourself.
Puff is happiness. It's just finding joy in the little things throughout your day. So you might not notice them if in our busy schedules in our lives, they rush by us so quickly, but taking the time to really see the little things in life that make you happy or make others happy and noticing those and really just taking those with you.
I want the audience to take away from Puffs the idea, and they mention it in the show, and I really take it to heart, that Puffs are loyal and kind and work hard, and that they play fair when the world is anything but fair. And that is something really, really important. And also the idea that you don't have to be a brave or a smart or a snake or a puff. You can be all these things, and those parts that make you a puff are oftentimes the things that make you a better person. And I want everybody to get from this show to embrace those parts of you, that they're not something that you should be ashamed of just because they are easy to do. Sometimes they're the hardest things to do. And it's really important.
That if they've never felt like the hero, that they can be the hero. This play is all about the oddballs out that, eventually come up on top. That they too can really, save the day, even though they don't think that they can.
What I would like the audience to take out of the show is that heroes are all around us, and we are all the hero of our own story, even though sometimes we don't necessarily feel like that because we feel like we get swept up in other people's stories, that, we are the hero of our own stories.
I would love for the audience to be able to understand the underlying messages of friendship and unity, and understanding that even if you identify as one of the other houses, there's a little bit of Puff in all of us.
What I want the audience to take away from this show is that even if you're not quite where you want to be in your life, or you had grander plans for some other thing, it's never too late, and you're always there's always a story to tell about yourself.
The thing I would like the audience to take home from the production is that everyone is their own hero of their own story. Just because you may feel that you may not be the focal point of something in someone else's tale doesn't mean that you weren't destined for great and incredible things.
I'm hoping that the audience is able to take away a lot of laughs because, to quote Roger Rabbit, laughter is a very powerful thing. Sometimes in life, it's the only weapon we have, and that is a motto that I absolutely live by. I also think that it's great for them to relate to these characters who maybe everyone who's ever worked hard for something and been passed up, and it's always given to that one person, or something any actor can relate to. You show up to an audition and that one person who always gets the part over you is there. I think we can all relate to that and relate to that struggle and see a little bit of ourselves in Puffs.
I want the audience to realize the Puffs are more than just a house of really nerdy kind of theater kids who kind of always get the short end of the stick, because everybody has a little bit of a Puff in them, whether it's missing your bus to school or getting the wrong answer on a test and you're like, oh man, you knew the right answer but you went with the other one, and then when you go back you're like, oh man, it was that one all along. Because I don't know, Puffs are they're relatable, they're the common man.
I want the audience to really have a great time, be able to laugh with this fandom that is, known worldwide, and really pokes fun at some of the things that are a little, I don't want to say problematic, but a little tongue-in-cheek, a little rough around the edges. And again, the message of the show, taking that home and kind of implementing that in their lives of just, let your freak flag fly and just really find your tribe, find your people, and make them the most important thing in the world to you.
So I want the audience to take away from this show that we are all Puffs in our own way, that there's something in each of us makes us friendly and loyal and kind, and I think we should all aspire to have a little bit of puffiness about us. I think that I just want people to take away that whether you're brave or smart or whatever your traits are, we could all stand to be a little kind and a little loving.
Joy. I mean, really, joy is the answer, is what I want audience to take away from the show. I want them to have fun. I want them to see that not everyone gets to be the special the special person of destiny. But just because they feel like they're not special doesn't mean they aren't. Because that's kind of the point of this story, is that even the people who in some stories you see as side characters is just the background to elevate someone else, is that we're all the stars of our own story. And our story is what we make it. And it's better to do the good thing than the easy thing. And I think it's a great message behind this play. And I hope that that's what the audiences take away from it, while also just having a really good time.
I would like the audiences to leave with a feeling of camaraderie. And I mean, people are so used to seeing, first of all, mostly shows that have a definitive lead character or maybe two lead characters. Seeing a show like this is special, and it's really cool to see everyone so needed in every facet of the show. Also, just being instilled with the qualities of the Puffs. You know, you are loyal, and you are friendly, and you're excited about food. So just enjoying life and finding the best part of it and really hanging on to that.
I want the audience to have a really fun time with us, and also walk away feeling at home, if that makes sense. The Puffs is a real family, and over the course of the show, they become closer and sweeter, and also really give themselves to each other and to this purpose. And I want the audience to feel like they are really a part of that.